the banks of the lovely Loch Ness. There I'll see the round towers and castles galore, as fishermen saw them in days long ago. Hi there. What I have to share with you for the next while is very, very special to me. I'm here in my native county, Donegal, and for the next hour or so I'll be taking you on a trip across to America, to Chicago and New York, and all down the coast of Ireland, but mostly here in my native Kincasla and all around Donegal. So sit back, relax and enjoy. There's no other place on earth like the place of my birth, the place where I first saw light of day. There's no place more dear to me, or where I'm content to be, than the beautiful coastline of Galway. A little cottage old and worn, with roses round the door, is where I spent my happy childhood days. We would breathe the fresh sea air, we were young without a care, on the beautiful coastline of Galway. The woodlands and greenery, the wonderful scenery that nature bestowed in no small way. Only God alone could plan such a magic fairyland as the beautiful coastline of Galway. Some might think that we were poor. Looking back, I'm not so sure. We had many things that money cannot buy, like the view from our front door, looking out across the shore, where the great Atlantic Ocean meets the sky. Happy memories I have still of summers in Salt Hill, and boat trips to the islands far away, and the days so full of thrills on the Connemara hills, and the lovely nights I spent round Galway Bay. The woodlands and greenery, the wonderful scenery that nature bestowed in no small way. Only God alone could plan such a magic fairyland as the beautiful coastline of Galway. Only God alone could plan such a magic fairyland as the beautiful coastline of Galway. With me here now is the famous songwriter Patsy Kavanagh, and he's the man who is responsible for the title track of the video, Old Friends of Mine. Patsy, I've always wanted to ask you, what inspired you to write Old Friends of Mine?
It's a song basically about growing up, going away, coming back, and realising that every year so many of the neighbours that you knew have disappeared. You know?
Just like around here and everywhere else.
Very similar, yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you gave it to me and that I got the chance to do it. So come along with me, folks, and listen to Old Friends of Mine. We would meet them on our way to school, our tears and jokes and April fools he'd share with them and hope they understood. They'd make us run down to the shop, no pennies if we dared to stop to talk to boys. We'd laugh as if we would. In teenage years we'd meet these friends. We thought we'd growing up by then. We'd try impressing them with stories bold. The situations we had met, secrets shared and cigarettes. As we were growing older, they grew old. Old friends of mine, I still remember days gone by and the things we done. But like the snows of last December, one by one, old friends are gone. The years have brought us different friends, and though we always did intend to write to them and laugh and joke once more, we find each year when we return with deep regret when we would learn that time had closed another childhood door. In our world of self-sufficiency, our phone and satellite TV, we've made this world much smaller than before. Now we just wave at other folk. We don't share tears and April jokes. No time to talk to neighbors anymore. Oh, friends of mine, I still remember days gone by and the things we done. But like the snows of last December, one by one, old friends are gone. One by one, old friends are gone. I'm here in Loughnewar, and behind me is the Tech where I used to go to school in my early teenage years. Just when I came over here this morning, I met an old school pal of mine, Patrick McCafferty. How are you, Patrick?
Not too bad. Many's a good day we had here, Margo.
Oh, indeed we had. But things have changed a wee bit. You have to go off to work now, and I have to go into the school. All the best. This is the headmaster's office. And many times I had to come in here when I was looking for time off school to go maybe to sing with the keynotes. When I first started singing, I was still going to the Tech here in Loughnewar, and I used to come in here to ask for time off when the band would be going to Scotland or England on a short tour. I came in here one day and he looked up at me from under his glasses and he said, "Well, Mairead," that's Margaret in Irish. So I told him my dilemma and that I needed some time off to go away to sing. And he looked at me again and he said, "You know, Mairead, I think you think this is Butlin's holiday camp." But he let me go just the same. Come on with me now till I show you where I tried to learn to do some cooking. Well, this is the room. This is where all the cooking took place, and many's the pot was burnt here. One Monday morning I remember being in here, and Monday was a bad day for me because I was always singing on the Sunday night, and we were learning how to cook donuts. They had to be deep fat fried. And I remember standing over the pot here with a load of the other girls,
And I was that tired that I fell asleep and my hand fell into the fat. But oh God, the memories.
I was born in the Rosses near Sweetlock and Ure. I'm now growing old, I'll go back there once more, where I crossed the fields to school by the seashore, and my footsteps took me through the Rosses. When I was 20, I was restless and poor. My footsteps took me from my Donegal shore to work in the coal mines of North Carolina. Many years underground without rain or sunshine. I know there'll be changes as time marches on, and I know it's no different in the land I was born. But my memories are special, they live on and on, of footsteps I took through the Rosses. Each night by my bedside I'd kneel down and pray. I'd thank the Lord who kept me safe one more day. I'd ask him to guide me back home once again, and I'd walk through the Rosses in sunshine and rain. Tomorrow at noon I draw my last pay, say goodbye to my friends and be on my way. I know I'll be happy when I step off the plane, and I'll walk through the Rosses in sunshine or rain. I know there'll be changes as time marches on, and I know it's no different in the land I was born. But my memories are special, they live on and on, of footsteps I took through the Rosses. Many footsteps I took through the Rosses. I'm sitting in a barroom in Chicago all alone, looking at the rain coming down. Put another nickel in the jukebox on the wall, and I played a few old songs way back home. The record started playing and it mentioned Donegal, then it gave a mention to Tyrone. The words don't mean nothing when you're sitting in a bar, when any town in Ireland would be home. Any town in Ireland would be home. Just a cottage by a river all alone. But I'm sitting in a barroom in Chicago Sunday morning, when any town in Ireland would be home. Galway and Mayo, Roscommon, Dublin and Athlone. The bartender asked me what town I came from. I said any town in Ireland would be home. Any town in Ireland would be home. Just a cottage by a river all alone. But I'm sitting in a barroom in Chicago Sunday morning, when any town in Ireland would be home. home. I have walked along Broadway, I've been down the Strand, and I've seen the big highways in every land. But in all the big cities, the lights I've never seen of the road by the river that flows through Raheen. I recall when I started in strange lands to roam. Oh, it's little I thought how I'd miss my old home. It's the old farm, the village, the valley so green, and the road by the river that flows through Raheen. I had only one brother, a gay lad and droll. When he died, how I missed him, oh God rest his soul. On the spots where he fell, a white cross can be seen. Near the road by the river that flows through Raheen. Rows and rows of new houses are built on the green, and a cinema stands where my cottage had been. The river is there, but no trace can be seen of the road by the river that flows through Raheen. Everything changes and we change as well, and I'm sure that you too, if the truth you would tell. Wander back to some well-beloved spot in your dreams, like the road by the river that flows through Raheen.
It's 5:30 in the morning here in Kincastle, and we're on board the boat called the Neptune. We're walking here from the lights of the boat, and I would like to tell you that this boat is going to be used on most of our tracks that we're going to record today. I would like to introduce you to the owner of the boat, Eileen Oglesby. It was once owned by her husband John, who's no longer with us, sadly to say. And this is our son Martin and my cousin James McGonigal. So I hope you're going to enjoy some of the sights that you're going to see today.
Away behind the Rosses hills, the sun sinks down to rest. The little birds in their shady nooks sleep on their peaceful peaceful nest. On such an eve, through lonesome groves, where lovers chance to stray, and fishermen cast out their nets on deep Heaven Bay. That night there stood a maiden fair upon the peaceful shore. Her cheeks they bloomed like the purple heather on lovely Grania moor, while gently flowing o'er her neck her yellow ringlets lay, like the evening sun reflecting back on deep Heaven Bay. He took her hand into his own, and to his breast he drew, saying, "Darling dear, it's nice to know there's one heart ever true." And with these words they parted on that autumn evening gay, to toil among the fishermen on deep Heaven Bay. And from the north the wind came forth, and long and strong blew. The waves that didn't move all day to milky darkness grew. The fishermen, their hearts were sad, for their loved ones far away, and their crafts were wildly tossed about on deep Heaven Bay. A fire was lit at Rakey Head, and a light on Downing's Pier, to welcome back the fishermen to the ones that loved them dear. But there was one who didn't return, he perished in the spray. A darling son a mother raised on deep Heaven Bay. A father mourns a stalwart lad, a mother mourns a son, a sister and a brother too. Their old companion is gone, but there is one in secret still who weeps the same as they. Her sweetheart's bones are bleaching white on deep Heaven Bay.
It's not often I get time to spend with my favourite boy. This is Joey, my nephew, and he's very, very special. He's been around in the background while I've been doing my video, but this is the first time you've seen him on camera. We're here outside my home in Kincastle, but right now we're going to go way down to the west of Ireland, to Achill Island.
peace fell to the sea. They call it Achill Island, and it's everything to me. With the purple hush of heather and the rhododendron bloom, the turf fire and the salt sea air, nature's own perfume. And it's home to me, home to me, with the golden strand and mountains and the great Atlantic Sea. It's home to me, the place I long to go, back to Achill Island in the county of Mayo. So much in this great city and so many things to do, but no matter how I try, my thoughts return to you and our home across the ocean on that island in the west. My dreams are of my loved ones as I lay me down to rest. And it's home to me, home to me, with the golden strand and mountains and the great Atlantic Sea. It's home to me, the place I long to go, back to Achill Island in the county of Mayo. And it's home to me, home to me, with the golden strand and mountains and the great Atlantic Sea. It's home to me, the place I long to go, back to Achill Island in the county of Mayo. Back to Achill Island in the county of Mayo.
I'm here at the goal of my journey to do this part for my video on the lovely OE Island. The weather hasn't been too kind to us today. It's windy and it's blustery, but I just wanted to come in here to show you some of the things that I grew up with as a kid. Behind me is the house where my grandparents lived, and my mother was reared and was born here. I lived here for many, many summers, and I went to school here on the island. And I'm going to take you back into the house now. It's not what it used to be, but the memories to me are still there. Well, this is the inside of the house, or what's left of it at the moment. This is the main room. This is where we ate. This is where we sat and chatted. There was no television, there was no electricity. Up here is the master bedroom. This is where my grandparents slept. And here is my grandfather used to keep his pipe of tobacco. There was a little curtain going across there. And he used to sit on a little stool here at the fire and give out to us all. Over here is the fireplace. And this was the only means of heat and the only way that my grandmother cooked her meals. And many's the good meal we ate. It was cooked up that fire. In later years, I was sent in one day with this gas cooker. And I remember trying to teach my grandmother, who was very, very old at the time. She was close on 80 years of age. I remember trying to teach her how to light it, taking the box of matches and turning on the gas and going through the motions of showing her what to do. And she had never seen one of them before. So when I had showed her maybe 4 or 5 times, I said, "Sure, well, you know now how to do it." And she said, "I'll tell you what to do. You just leave it switched on, and when I want it, I'll put a match to it." You can imagine what would happen. Up here in this room is one of the bedrooms. Many's the good night's sleep I had in this room. I used to sleep in that wee bed there periodically, and as you can see, there are 2 beds. There's a wooden panel here, and there used to be a curtain across there, because sometimes the boys used to sleep there, and the girls were in here. So we had a wee bit of privacy. You couldn't make very much noise, though, because my grandparents' bed was right behind that wall. And you know, in them days, we didn't have no electric blanket. We just cuddled up tight and kept each other warm.
wander through scenes of my childhood. They call back to memory the happy days of yore. Gone are the old folk, the house stands deserted. No light in the window, no welcome at the door. Here's where the children played games in the heather. Where they sailed their wee boats on the burn. Where are they now? Some are dead, some have wandered. No more to their homes will these children return. Sweet were the memories and sad was their passing. Stillness replaces the laughter and tears. Wind whispers through the hearth and the rafters and tells, if you listen, of those bygone years. Lone is the house now, and lonely the moorland. The children are scattered, the old folk are gone. Why stand I here like a ghost and a shadow? It's time I were moving. It's time I passed on.
That last scene was the old schoolhouse on Owie Island, and although it's very still right now, it wasn't always that way. It was always full of children going to school during the day, and sometimes at night they had the dances there. Right here beside me are two people who spent an awful lot of time on the island, Bridget Sharkey here and Jim McGinty, and this is one of the band that used to play at the dances, a resident musician, so to speak. And Jim, the dances were great.
Well, great dancers altogether.
And you played the...
I played the fiddle, and myself and another fella, chap from the island too.
And what did he play?
He played the fiddle as well.
Two fiddles?
Two fiddles. That was great music in them days.
And Bridget, you used to go in from the mainland to attend these dances?
Yes, I did.
Sort of a belle of the ball, so to speak.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I loved every minute of it.
You love the
It was
island?
the greatest place on earth. Heaven.
Heaven. And what kind of lights? You know, you didn't have any electric light or gas
No,
lighting.
lamps.
Lamps. But we used to start in the evening, you know, and go around. Some of the grown-up men would go around every house and get the people in the house would give you their lamp, the lamp that we're using at night.
Yeah, wick lamps.
Wick lamps, maybe double burners, and they would do without them for that night anyway. They would, supposing they sat in the dark, they wouldn't care, but the school then, the great dancers and some great old dancers and all the old dances.
And listen, Bridget, was there many people would lift a man or a woman there? You know, was there many people who would go out after
A whole
that?
lot of them.
They would all lift somebody?
They all left somebody.
And what about yourself? Did you lift?
Oh,
Suppose
yeah.
you lifted many's the man in your day.
We danced the donkey.
You danced the donkey.
Right.
And you know, come to think about that, from Owie Island in the remote, beautiful part of Donegal, I recorded some of this video away miles away from here, over in America. And that's where we're going right now, over to New York and a lonesome mother's call.
Not so very York Road. A weary Irish exile was returning to his home. He gave his all each working day. He was one of New York's best. His days were being over. He longed for evening's rest as he felt the need for company. To a tavern he strolled in and exchanged some heartfelt greetings with a couple of his friends. The tavern rang with music from the barman's radio, of the fiddle and the melodeon, for it was an Irish show. As he listened to familiar tunes, with pride he hummed along. Then he heard the lates of Sligo, and he broke into that song. But his spirits soon turned downwards when the compere of the show read a letter from a mother in the green hills of Sligo. And the letter read, "Dear Mr. DJ, could you do a turn for me? I'm looking for my long-lost son who's far across the sea. I know he went to New York town, but that's the last we heard, for he never wrote a letter, and we never heard another word. The day he left these Sligo shores, he had angry words with his dad. They fought about the land, you know, though it was little that we had. But his father wouldn't pass it on, though he didn't mean no harm. So Johnny left and headed off for New York town, and ever since we think of him from sunrise to sundown. So if by chance he's listening to your famous Irish show, would you tell him we'd love to have him back round the green hills of Sligo?" Well, the tears ran down the barman's cheeks, and the cold his heart grew warm. Then Johnny bid his friends adieu and headed off for home. But he left them none the wiser, for pride was lord of all. Now he's haunted in some other town by a lonesome mother's call. So if you're an Irish exile and you're far away from home, don't forget your mother, and you'll never walk alone. Remember well forever, pride comes before a fall, and you never will be haunted by a lonesome mother's call. No, you never will be haunted by a lonesome mother's call. The lights of Rosslare Harbour are fading from my view. Alone on board the ferry as I sail away from you. The dreams and plans we cherished as we shared the last few years, they're slowly being extinguished. They run down my face in tears. This heart of mine is breaking It's pounding in my breast. Still everybody tells me, sure you know 'tis for the best. But today I lose my best friends as I leave you both behind. Both you, my love, and Ireland will be always on my mind. The lights of Rosslare Harbour are fading from my view. Alone on board the ferry as I sail away from you. The dreams and plans we cherished as we shared the last few years, they're slowly being extinguished. They run down my face in tears. I'm sitting by the window as the ship sails out to sea. The flashing lights of Tusker, they're my only company. And for a few brief moments, as we share our last farewell, who knows how long 'twill be before I see her lights again. The lights of Rosslare Harbour are fading from my view. Alone on board the ferry as I sail away from you. The dreams and plans we cherished as we shared the last few years, they're slowly being extinguished. They run down my face in tears. They're slowly being extinguished. They run down my face in tears.
I'm walking down here towards Mickey's Quay, and when we were small, we all used to walk down here very, very often. When I come home now, it's very hard for the whole lot of us to be home together. And one man in particular is very hard to meet.
Aren't you lucky I'm here today?
How are you, Daniel?
This is exactly as it used to be. We used to walk down here, all of us really as children, because the beach was just a little bit further down. Will we sit, Margaret?
Ah, we will.
And John Frill used to stay at old Tatty's in there. John's long gone, but the son still keeps setting the tatties and vegetables. And we used to have our potatoes up here, and tatties we call them, the potatoes for anybody that's posh. And it's all so overgrown now. It's almost like a different place. And I remember we called it the Rani. Really not an Irish saying, really. It was when the tide was out, we would play football.
And you used to swim down here at the quay, but I was never able to swim. I never
she nearly drowned me one day. Do you remember that day?
Over at the bridge, I went over looking for him, and he wasn't very big at the time, and he was trying to save me from drowning. He put me in a piece of aeroboat to keep me afloat, and I fell off it, and I nearly pulled him down. So I'll tell you, you're lucky that he's still here today.
Well, no, lucky or unlucky, I don't know. Well, we'll walk another wee bit.
We will indeed.
Maybe we'll walk. Go on further down. I think we're far enough now.
I think we are, Daniel.
And when I was leaving the house, Mother was making pancakes. And
Oh, God, you better go home.
you need to eat them when they're hot. And you're slimming anyway, so you don't need any.
That's right.
Why don't you take these on a wee trip round Kincastle?
Indeed I will, and I'll see you later.
All right.
Okay.
Look.
Lovely Kincastle, the place of my birth, the place that I love most of all on this earth. So far I have traveled, I still hear the call of lovely Kincastle. living and trust in God above. In our hands there was music, laughter and love. And I've always thought that there never could be a sight in this world more beautiful to me. On the Errigal Mountain, majestic and tall, overlooking Kincasla and dear old Donegal. I recall happy days in my grandparents' home on the lovely Oe Island where I would freely roam, and summer days in Burton Port where I'd watch the fishermen. These memories I will treasure till my life is at an end. And I've always thought that there never could be a sight in this world more beautiful to me. On the Errigal Mountain, majestic and tall, overlooking Kincasla and dear old Donegal. My lovely Kincasla in County Donegal.
This is a shop in Inishkuslaka, Dunlewy, and I'm here looking at the old order book that they used for orders that they took for tweeds and food and all sorts of things that you would get in an old shop long ago. They have boat trips on the lake here, they have day tours, and they mix the old with the new here. This is a community project which was opened in 1988, and I thought I would like to bring you here to show you a little bit about what happens around this area. Where better to sing a song about the heart that beats in Ireland?
Some folks think of Ireland as just 40 shades of green, with Blarney stones and old bog roads, and I'll take you home, Kathleen. And they sing long old Irish songs and hear the banshees call, but they're missing part of my land that matters most of all. There's a heart that beats in Ireland, you can hear it everywhere, in the cities and the countrysides, you can feel it in the air, in the welcome hands and parting glass, the smile from young and old, and the heart that beats in Ireland is the heart of gold. His heart is always ready to lend a helping hand when common flood or trouble strikes at another land. And there always shines an Irish smile from an Irish boy or girl, and that heart that beats in Ireland beats all around the world. There's a heart that beats in Ireland, you can hear it everywhere, in the cities and the countryside, you can feel it in the air, in the welcome hands and parting glass, the heart that beats in Ireland is a heart of gold. The heart that beats in Ireland is a heart of gold.
Well, we're almost there. I've had a lot of fun making this video, and I would like to thank everybody who helped me along the way, but especially the people of Kincasla, Loughanure, Dunlewy and Mulladuff. Without them, it wouldn't have been possible. I hope that you enjoyed it too, and until I see you again, bye. But don't go away. Wait for the cottage.
Our cottage we rented from a wealthy landlord. The rent that we paid, we could scarcely afford. My father and brother both worked on the land, and my mother kept house, always cozy and grand. But my father died young, oh how life can be cruel, while my sister and I were still going to school. But my mama's so brave, said we must not despair. The Lord will provide, was her constant prayer. My brother now 16, and Mom's pride and joy, a happy-go-lucky and light-hearted boy. But he gambled a lot, which caused Mama much pain. I've heard her advising again and again. She'd say, son, you're a fool, though you're good and kind-hearted. But fools and their money are easily parted. But he'd just laugh and joke and say, one day for sure, my luck will come up, we'll be no longer poor. Then the winter time came, and the land it was bleak. He sailed far away, his fortune to seek. And he'd write now and then, and he'd send what he could. It helped with the cost of the rent and the food. But as the years passed now, the letters were few. The rent wasn't paid. Oh, what were we to do? But the bailiff came round and left us in no doubt. He served us a notice, pay up or get out. Next came the landlord with his old auctioneer to value the cottage that we loved so dear. Oh, how Mama pleaded, but to no avail. He put up a notice, this cottage for sale. 'Twas the very first time I saw Mama afraid. I could tell by the tone of her voice as she prayed. What are we to do, Lord? Will you please show us how? But only a miracle could rescue us now. Oh, well, I remember the dreaded day came. The buyer stood round in the wind and the rain, while inside the cottage the three of us hid, and the auctioneer shouted, come what am I bid? Well, the very best bidder was a man quite unknown. He put down his money and he purchased our home. Then my sister and mother, with hearts sad and sore, prepared for to leave their own cottage door. Then the stranger spoke up, said there's no need to run. Have I changed all that much? You don't know your own son. Remember you told me all gamblers are fools. Well, I made my last bet and came up on the pools.
Well, love and rejoicing was there on that day, as my brother embraced our dear mother now grey. And the tears that were sadness were now tears of joy, as she welcomed home her own long-lost boy.
Of Mary, our mother divine. Dear Isle of the Welcomes, take me back to your shore, where my heart will find peace, and I leave you no more. Oh, show me Killarney, I'll kiss the stone of Blarney. Dear Isle of the Welcomes, take me back to your shore. How I long for one sight of that dear Galway Bay. Its beauty I've heard of in lands far away. How I picture the scene of the seagulls and spray, the sun in the evening as it fades away. Dear Isle of the Welcomes, take me back to your shore, where my heart will find peace, and I leave you no more. Oh, show me Killarney, I'll kiss the stone of Blarney. Dear Isle of the Welcomes, take me back to your shore. Dear Isle of the Welcomes, take me back